amazing peoples of the internet, I just had the funniest thing happen. So I thought I was recording. I'm doing this whole video. I got my whole spill, everything laid out. I went to stop the recording. Wasn't recording at all. Talk about a dunce cap. I wanted to do a little lighter video today. I just wanted to go over some things that I like. Y'all see my shelf over here. I got some DVDs. I know nobody uses DVDs anymore, but I still got some. But I also got a lot of books on my bookshelf, actual books. I am a reader. I do like reading. I don't read as much as I would like to, especially the last couple months. I've just been busy doing other things. But I'm going to share a little bit of myself with you, the people who don't really know me too well. My favorite book, as you can see, is the Bible. My favorite book. I prefer the King James Version. Before you get into all your King James was this and King James was that, look, man, just save it. This is just the version that I prefer. I prefer the King James Version. I like the eloquence in Old English. It's just my thing. I like it. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Numbers 23:19. And the reason I love this verse is the truth, the deep-seated truth in this verse. And the verse is, God is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? I love that verse. That verse gets to the point. God said it, he's going to do it. He comes through every time. In both directions. He comes through both in blessing and in judgment. If he said it, he's going to do it. You can count on that. All right, so I was talking to one of my best friends on the planet today, and we were just talking about asking the right questions. And y'all know I say that a lot. Are we asking the right questions? I got a treat for you. So years ago, I need to go through this book again because it's been years. I got this book. Can you see it? Let me see. See it in the camera. Plato's The Republic. Now, what's so great about this book? Well, there's a lot of things great about this book. If you like thinking, if you like critical thinking, to parents with teenagers, I know it's hard to get teenagers to read books, but Plato's Republic would probably be one of the most helpful books they'll ever read, because Plato's Republic is a great book to get used to the exercise of critical thinking. Great book. Great book. I'm telling you, reading that book was arguably one of the best experiences I ever had reading a book outside the Bible, because what I didn't realize as I was reading the book was grooming me into understanding how to ask the right questions, what questions to ask, what questions can do for you in a discussion. I'm telling you, it is a great book, a really great book, and I advocate everybody go out, get that book, read it, have your kids read it. I'm not saying everything in the book is right, but the premise of the book, and I'm telling you, it is just a good book. You really need to read it. You should. So the next book. So this book that I'm going to pull out, and I know I keep giving this brother credit. There's certain people you run across and you realize that they as far as the way they approach subjects, they really got it together. The brother Maj Toure, I believe, is a great guy to follow if you want to see somebody with a balanced argument. I'm not saying that you're always going to agree with everything he says. I'm not saying I agree with every single thing he says, but he's a great guy to follow if you want a balanced approach to looking at situations. Now, he mentioned a name few months ago. Now, I've read some of this stuff, not all of his works, but some of his stuff when I was younger, right, in school. Didn't pay attention. How many of us did? The works of one Mr. Thomas Paine. When I tell you the stuff that this man wrote is literary gold, I am telling you, this stuff is literary gold. You need to read the works of Thomas Paine. You need to. Great book. Excellent book. Now, there's another book I have down here that surprises people when I pull it out. That book is The Communist Manifesto. Why are people surprised when they find out I have the Communist Manifesto? Well, I do not subscribe to the approach of Karl Marx, and I do not subscribe to his ideology. Now, I will tell you this. I always tell people communism and socialism work as long as every man is after the common good of every other man, which has happened throughout human history a total of never many times. It just won't work. Every man is not going to be out for the common good of every other man. People always use situations in small groups where the ideals of communism and socialism is applied. It works in a small group because in a small group, let's take a group of 5 people. In a group of 5 people, you can get 5 people that get along and might be out for the common good of every person in that group. But once you increase that group to 100, 200, 1,000, 2,000, 300,000, a million, 3 million, 7 billion people, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work at all. So, Communist Manifesto, why do I have it? Had a discussion with a man years ago. It wasn't necessarily a debate. It was a discussion on the merits or lack thereof of communism and socialism. 2 very similar principles. You can say that one leads to the other. I agree. I think one does lead to the other. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I realized when I was having that discussion with him that as I did not agree with the principles and ideals of communism, I didn't really get to the source. And you know me, as I told y'all before, when I'm doing any kind of research, I try my best to get as close to the source as possible. Now, that doesn't mean that everything I believe is always right. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, I'm sure at some point, probably multiple times, I'm probably going to have to come back. No, not probably. I am going to have to come back and make corrections on things I put in different videos. I'm not infallible. I'm human. I learn just like you learn. I'm wrong just like you're wrong. Sometimes I'm right, just like sometimes you're right. That's just human nature. It's just the way it is. But I had to read this book because I figured, you know what? If I'm going to have an opinion about an ideology, I need to know something about an ideology, and I can go get the source. That's why I have the Communist Manifesto. I read it, the whole thing. Now, for the geeks out there that know about my supreme geekery, if you are a fan of Halo and you have not read any of the Halo novels, so the first 3 novels is First Strike, The Flood, and one of them, which I had loaned out and I never got back, I got to replace, is The Fall of Reach. I think that's the first 3 books in the trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. Those books, as far as sci-fi, are magnificent. Magnificent, I'm telling you. You just have no idea how good those books are. Those are some things that interest me. A little bit about myself, right? Also, I'm a huge comic book fan. Now, I got my comic books in plastic cases over here. I don't want to pull them out. You know what? I'm going to pull some out. I'm going to do it. Let me go over here and do that. Show you some of my older joints. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you see it. You know what it is. I'm a Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man's the man. If y'all don't know, I don't know what to tell you. And this, arguably to me, I would say one of the greatest comic book teams of all time. The X-Men. Yes, I am an X-Men fan. I'm a huge X-Men fan. I say huge. There's people who are definitely bigger X-Men fan than me, but I like some X-Men. And here's a Fantastic Four. This is 90s comic books, originals, not reprints. I bought these in the 90s. I think I was around, when did this come out? I want to say I was around maybe 15, 16. Might have been younger, might have been 14. So yeah, I love comic books. So anyway, that's a little bit of what I like. Stay frosty, people.